All right, greetings. Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Now let's wait. We're going to talk about Buddy on this plate. If y'all know what that is from. Extra credit. Y'all get extra credit. Greetings. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. It's Wednesday, the day after April Fool's Day. But every day can be April Fool's Day if you know how to live right. What's the old joke from Dana Gould? We all come into this world naked, screaming, and covered in blood. And it doesn't have to end there if you know how to live right. That's an old day. All right, so what's happening? All kinds of mess. That's what's happening. There's tariffs that's supposed to be announced in a few minutes, I believe. Would you believe? One of my favorite lines from one of my favorite shows. Would you believe? Anybody know what that's from? Extra credit, if you know what that's from. Let's look at this. Trump's going to announce some tariffs today. And everybody seems to be bracing. Although the stock market went higher and higher this morning. So if people are concerned about the tariffs, you know, there's all kinds of prognostications on what the tariffs are going to mean for the economy. Mostly people think it's going to dump or tank the economy. Seems to be the general consensus or prevailing wisdom, if you will. Get smart. Yep. That's right. That's Maxwell Smart. Would you believe? And the song I was quoting earlier is De La Soul. De La Soul. Trump poised to reshape global economy and how world does business. And every time Donald Trump has mentioned his plan to levy massive tariffs on imports into the U.S., there has been a widespread assumption that they will be delayed, watered down, or rode back, which seems to be the case. That is also the prevailing wisdom would be that he walks these things back. It's the threat. It's more the threat than the actual imposition. Because he's using them as a cudgel, if you will. Today he will reveal in the White House garden, apparently in about 45 minutes, are supposed to be these tariff announcements. He will reveal in the White House Rose Garden not just how serious he is about the most beautiful word in the dictionary. The most beautiful word in the dictionary. But effectively call time on decades of economic globalization. And it is still possible that he will do this by launching the equivalent of a salvo of ballistic missiles into the global trading system with a universal tariff on all imports into the USA. The option of a 20% universal tariff is the only way to get some of the massive revenues of trillions of dollars claimed by some of his advisors. In recent days, well, if a tariff is a tax and tax is theft, missed it by that much. That's another good one. Yes. Hmm. Um, Tariff is a tax. Tax is theft. And this is just trying to scoop in all the money possible, which uh, may also be for there's other things going on that could cause this action, which is that the economy is they're doing everything they can to rein in spending and bring in revenue. I mean, that's basically what they're doing, halting spending and bringing in revenue because things are cratering. The economy is cratering. There also, there's also the gold move, massive gold movement being going on. Excuse me, my God. Um, I just saw somewhere on this, I think on the CME, that there's a huge, like a historically large order of gold. The nose garden, indeed. Um, so yeah, the tariff announcements are coming soon, and we'll see how it plays out, and we'll see how the economy responds. So far, not well. There was the initial Trump bump when he was elected, because people, I guess, in very short historical hindsight, and historically, Trump presidency has meant uh, less regulations, less restrictions, and more economic activity, or an attempt to boost economic activity. So it's generally good for the economy. This is again. Um, I'm just relaying prevailing sentiment, and also, yeah, giving whenever you give tax breaks to billionaires, it's the old trickle down. Would you believe it's the old trickle down theory? When the top 10% are producing all the wealth, well, that wealth just trickles on down, trickles on down to the poors. You know how that works? It doesn't work, actually. It doesn't work. John Glad says commodities will be king, then gold and silver. Commodities, yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, there was a Trump bump, and then there was a Trump slump after he got in office and started. Well, his crypto coin tanked, and then Malay try to launch a cryptocurrency a la Trump, and that was a massive rug pull and a scam, and that rocked the crypto market. The crypto markets were absolutely rocked by that. I think both of those things together made people lose a lot of. I apologize for all the throat clearing. It's a little annoying, but and I believe that even probably the crypto market skittishness probably leaked over into the regular stock market, or vice versa. But last couple, it has been a couple days of gains, so maybe people are feeling a little more. Who knows? Who knows, man? Malcolm Young says solar panels, freeze dryers, atmospheric water reclaimers, and seeds. Then copper, aluminum, and silver. All right. Joseph Wood says tariffs are paid by the purchaser, the U.S., which also is true. So when people think that through, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're raising all this money by paying for it." Again, if tariffs are a tax and tax is theft, it just depends on who you're stealing money from. Yeah, the Dow is up a bit. It's been up. There's been a couple of rises today. Strong rise. All right, we'll stop talking about that. But that news will come soon, and we'll see what happens. Peter Thiel is looking more and more like a. Who was it that had this like Skeletor look? Famously, was it a Rockefeller, or maybe it was King? Uh, who was Queen Elizabeth married to? That guy, who looked like a human Skeletor. Well, yeah, Malcolm. Taxes are fine if they actually go for the things that they're paying for, right? If you collect a tax to help everybody pay for, water, let's say, or whatever, some necessity, then that's a benefit to, right? Which is why I'm totally still Prince Philip. Thank you. Yeah, he looks scary. Somebody said he looks like he always looks like he's melting. Yeah, so I'm still believe in socialism. Absolutely. But not just still believe in it. I'm a proponent of socialism because if you do things for the public benefit, if you actually collect the money and spend the money on public benefit, there is absolutely not only is there absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's what you want to do. That is actually helpful to society. Right? You're doing things for the It's why China is succeeding and the U.S. is failing. In many ways, because China, love them or hate them, does things for the public good, like builds high-speed trains, doesn't engage in a lot of military escapades around the world. Yes, they have a military budget, but it's like, minuscule compared to the U.S. military budget. The old Dapper Dan, or Prince Albert in a can. Let's see. So this is a pretty good post. So when J.D. Vance's owner, Peter Thiel, correct, says there's something about the Biden thing that was crazier than apartheid South Africa. Okay. Okay. You know what's crazier than apartheid South Africa? I could think of a few things. One in particular. If we pull on enough strings, that the ancien regime of liberalism will completely unravel. Poster goes on to say, again, I'm not religious, but this is literally the Antichrist.
I think there was something about the Biden thing that was crazier than apartheid South Africa. Because apartheid South Africa, by the 1980s, they knew they were on the wrong side of history. They knew their days were numbered. The Biden people, the Obama Biden people, they were so delusional. They thought they were on the right side of history.
More delusional
And,
than
they were going to be the winners. They would always get to rewrite the rules. It was like the ancien regime,
Right.
pre-revolutionary France. They thought it would go on forever. And so if you're in a world where you think you're on the winning side, you will always be able to get to rewrite the rules.
It does.
Econ 1 analysis, how much will you push the envelope? How much will you bend these rules? And so I think there was a lot. And there's a lot there are a lot of strings that can be pulled and
project much. Not that there weren't problems with the Biden administration. I called all of them out as often as I could when they were happening. huge issues with the Biden administration, but does not overshadow or differentiate really in any way from the issues going on with the Trump administration. Like they're just taking the football and running downfield with it. So I don't know what he's talking about, and he doesn't know what he's talking about either. There's more on this post, and I'll read this because it's worth reading. A group of messianic psychopaths is trying to rig evolution to permanently provide themselves dictatorial power. Let me explain. And he's talking about the digital gulag, panopticon, etc. Around 30 years ago, humans added a crucial evolutionary adaptation, a way to communicate and access remote data at near light speed. The internet is evolution at work. Yeah. At this point, for a majority of humanity, digital life is no longer just a sixth sense. It creates a significant part of the way we perceive reality. In Darwinian evolution, every minor change to the design has to happen through random genetic fluctuations that are selected for how adaptive they are to survivability. This takes numerous generations. The internet accelerated the rate of evolutionary change by orders of magnitude, but our brains have had no time to physically evolve to the exponential rate of change in the way we perceive reality, and never will. I mean, maybe. We have a permanent gap between technology and biology. Well, that's a debatable point, but I think everything he said up to there was pretty right on. That's why I like the internet, is that it has allowed us the communication, right? If the internet if we had free speech and free communication and the ability to gather all this and collate, collate it, coordinate it, and put it back out there, reshape it. I mean, we could make amazing advances and strides in human evolution, and we were kind of on the way to do that, and then the powers that be were like, hold on. Methinks we let the cats out of the bag a little too quick. Right, because you let people on an information superhighway do their thing, and they tend to go really fast. They start figuring things out. They start realizing, oh hey, we're seeing all the things. Are you seeing all the things? Because I'm seeing all the things. Are you seeing all the things? Everybody's like, yeah, we saw all the things. And the people in charge are like, stop seeing all the things, because that's bad for us. If you guys can see all the things, we don't want that. So now they're trying to quickly roll it all back or whatever, or put it into a highly controlled box with very narrow parameters. Joseph Wood says one can think of all humans as a collective AI with respect to all life and civilization. Sure, absolutely. I mean, I think we've always operated that way, but I think the internet just sped that up. The internet just allowed that human, the collective consciousness to expand rather rapidly. Let me keep going. In effect, we are a post-Darwinian species at this point. We are driving our own evolution. The struggle we're currently experiencing is ultimately a war for the way we're going to evolve as a species, and the internet is the battle space. That's why it is so important to understand the true purpose of people like Mike Flynn, Peter Thiel, Robert Mercer, David Koch, Steve Bannon, Eric Prince, Jack Dorsey, and Elon Musk. These 12 men have been working together in various configurations for many years. But they're all part of the same. They kind of control. They pick a side, if it suits them. So these 12 men have been working together in various configurations for many years. They have different resources and skills to bring to the table, and a variety of ideologies and motivations that drive them. But they share a common project. The shared project of these 12 men is the elimination of liberal democracy as a viable form of governance. These are highly intelligent messianic narcissists who are also clinical psychopaths. They intentionally design social media and parasitic networks to give themselves the tools to rig evolution, and then they rigged it. The algorithm at Facebook, Cambridge Analytica, Palantir, Glue data mining, the cult creation platform of Twitter, Google, providing instant access to disinformation and the ability to monetize it. All of this was designed to end up where we are. Social media is a massive system to change the way humanity works, a way to rig evolution. Again, I don't know. He's missing part. He's leaving things out, but whatever. Of course, the big problem is that the system is not for everyone's use. The people who built it, the oligarchs, want to use it for themselves to get richer and more powerful, and they have at a global scale. We're being systematically stripped of our human emotions, our empathy, our ability to care for others, because it serves the purpose of the men who were born that way. Fair enough. In short, our system has allowed a group of aberrant psychopaths to change the way people think. They've used our new ability to connect with each other as an attack surface to erase our humanity. The psychological war we're currently experiencing is ultimately a war for the future of whether we are to remain human. Are we going to sacrifice our humanity to be cogs in a system created by evil men? Or are we going to rid ourselves of this cancer and be people again? And he's leaving other people out. Because I feel like this is coming from more of a lefty liberal viewpoint. So, you can always tell that they leave certain people out and focus on a particular group of people. But, most of that was pretty right on. Oh, I enjoyed it. What is this? North America is dripping from below. Say what? Are we going to get sucked into a giant sinkhole? Is that what's going to happen? That's what it looks like. Just a big suck hole in the middle of North America. Interesting. All right. So I found this interesting. There was that big judicial fight that Elon Musk was all up in Wisconsin. And, well, their side lost. Or not their side. The right side lost. The left side won. The left side is not my side. Or our side. Unless you want it to be your side, that's fine. A major shift in judicial power just happened in Wisconsin, and it is sending shockwaves across the nation. Liberal Judge Susan Crawford defeated conservative Judge Brad Schimmel in a high-stakes race for a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And some people might be like, yeah, take that, Elon. Boo. Ha. I got you, sucker. Our side won. That's what they're trying to... I feel like this whole thing is intended to do the old political divide soft shoe. While elections for judge usually fly under the radar, this one turned into a national showdown, just all out of a sudden. Nearly 100 million spent to influence the outcome. But this is the paragraph that really caught my eye, which goes back to what I was just saying about that last post, that you leave some people out and focus on particular individuals when there's plenty of individuals all working for the same outcome. So, and they might seem on different sides, but they are not. They are not. The race pitted two billionaires against each other. Really? It pitted two billionaires? Who? Who are the billionaires? George Soros supported Crawford. Really? So, before you go, yay for us, George Soros, who's, basically the equivalent of, Elon Musk or whoever else on, that's currently on the right side. He's the same dude working for the same ends. And, so this is ridiculous because nobody won, right? George Soros backed one side and Elon Musk backed another side. And both of those people pull the strings of whoever wins. So nobody wins. Nobody wins because whoever wins is a puppet of said billionaire, right? Two billionaires pulled the, made the puppets dance. Like that's not a political win or even a contest. That's just a show. That's theater. You have two puppets going like, "Hey, take that! Yeah, I got you." That's theater. That's not real life. That's not actually happening. So this whole like, oh, the battle for Wisconsin judge. Yeah, see, man, distraction. Nobody won. Nobody won. But good luck out there. Look at this ridiculous line. What happened in Wisconsin wasn't just a local result. It was a signal that average Americans still have the power to decide who governs them. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. Rewind selector. It was a signal that average Americans still have the power to decide who governs them. Yeah. Ha ha ha. But I'm sure they've got people like really wrapped up in this, all like, ooh, yeah, we won. No, you didn't. Just sit down. Just take a seat. I don't know. Holy shnikes. That is ridiculous. Wow. Like the level of brain rot in this article, in the first two paragraphs, is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But it works on people it works every time. And when you think, right, because like everybody hates Elon Musk now, and Elon Musk is the evil one now, and everybody's like, oh yeah, I hate that guy. Ooh, if only we can, if we win against that guy, then yeah, we got it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Oh my God, I feel a little bit sad. All right, let's move on to biosphere breakdown from Climate Dad. The complex ecosystem that underpins life, soil. Fungi, without it, all plants and animals will die. Bees, essential for the production of food. In the past week, all are reported to be rapidly dying thanks to extractive, suicidal capitalism. Which is a better way to say climate change. It's still the same thing, though. Global soil moisture in permanent decline due to climate change. We just saw that this morning. Nearly 1 in 3 studied fungi threatened with extinction from deforestation, climate change. And we just read about this. Millions of bees have died this year. It's the worst bee loss in recorded history, one beekeeper said. Just read that. Was it only yesterday? So that's happening. Beware, take heed, stuff like that. We don't need any more rain. In Queensland, Australia, have you guys seen this story? They have massive, massive floods going on in the outback, which is kind of their breadbasket. A lot of farmers and ranchers and whatnot. And they have had massive, devastating floods. Devastating floods have left over 100,000 cattle and sheep dead or missing. The floods have destroyed infrastructure, isolated communities, and caused massive losses for farmers. And this has been ongoing for the last week.
It's a race against time to save livestock in Western Queensland. Their area of land covered by floodwater is twice the size of Victoria, about 500,000 square kilometres. Graziers are desperately trying to chopper in food to cattle, sheep and goats, which have moved to higher ground. Others have drowned. Many have been put down.
I think every beast in Western Queensland would be looking at the sky saying, please, no more rain at this moment anyway.
Mr. Murray thinks he's lost more than 6,000 sheep. Across the region, an estimated 105,000 livestock are missing or deceased. That figure is expected to rise.
Stock will be washed away. They could be kilometres and kilometres downstream. So it's a matter of trying to find them or evidence of them.
More rain is on the way for this week, and any water rise could drown more stock clinging on for their lives.
We don't need any more rain. Please, God, no more rain.
It's a race against time to save livestock in Western Queensland. Their area of land covered by floodwater is twice.
So that is a really sad situation going on there. Lastly, more on pollinators. Elevated extinction risk in over 1/5 of native North American pollinators. Absolutely devastating study released last week on North American pollinator biodiversity. We assessed the extinction risk of nearly 1,600 species of vertebrate and insect pollinators and found that more than 1 in 5 species is at risk of extinction. The major threats are climate change, agriculture, modifications to hydrological and fire regimes, and housing and urban development. So, yeah, that's happening. All right. The time, it flies. Guys, if you like the show, coming to you for free, 99 Monday through Friday, and you want to keep on enjoying this show for free, 99 Monday through Friday, a really good way to make sure that happens is that you support the show at any of the links below. All the typical, usual, fantastical links are there. Venmo, PayPal, CashApp, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi, Patreon, Substack, all that kind of good stuff. It's all in the description box. Also, there's the Telegram chat is open for chatting 24 hours a day. There are people there chatting away with the Black Bear News. It's a Black Bear News chat. So go on over there, t.me/Black Bear News chat, and hang out. If you aren't so inclined, also go subscribe to my Substack. Up Friday, we're going to do a Substack only stream. I'm going to have to change the time of that stream, and it will not be at noon, but it will probably be around 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm just letting you guys know now. I'm I think that's going to be the time. And I'll update you tomorrow and let you know for sure whether that's going to be a different time on, that's going to be the time on Friday. Alrighty. What is we doing? This is unconfirmed, but just interesting. I don't know how factual this is. This is from a guy named Matt Kennard. 2 days ago, an Israeli military plane spent 3 hours circling off the coast of Los Angeles, California, right next to the border with Mexico. Plane model and serial number were blocked. The major thing is how do you know? How do you know this is an Israeli plane? I mean, there's really no evidence for it. I mean, he's giving this number here. It seems to be the only, evidence that it's an Israeli plane, but I don't know. Who knows? But this is the Post. They spent 3 hours circling off the coast of Los Angeles. Plane model and serial number blocked. Took off from Chino Airport at 15:34 and landed at San Bernardino Airport at 18:36. This is presented just for, isn't that interesting? I don't know. I can't verify this at all. So take this with a huge grain of salt. And if you find it interesting, cool. If you don't, that's all good. Let's see. It's pretty self-evidentiary. When we see capitalism as a predatory economic system, this is what we mean. Headline from the Financial Times: refugee camps are an untapped opportunity for the private sector. Well, of course. Trump already told you that, sucker. But thanks, Financial Times. Maybe Malcolm Young improved snooper. Yeah, maybe. Oh, it's going to get deeper in a couple of seconds. Here's a good little piece by James Lee about Jasmine Crockett. Who is Jasmine Crockett? She's serving as a U.S. representative for Texas's 30th congressional district and is a member of the Democratic Party. But let's look at this little expose from James Lee. Hold on one second. He says she cosplays as a working class progressive. Well, don't they all? Isn't that kind of the playbook right now? I'm a progressive. I'm working for the people. Ha, 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 ha. And champion of human rights. But she's likely a millionaire, a proud Zionist, and totally fine with bombing babies. Again, aren't they all? Let's watch this.
Jasmine Crockett is not who you think she is.
Israel having a right to defend itself. What is the limiting principle, especially when the U.S. is the one providing the armaments for Israel to wage these military campaigns, as you know, having voted for the National Security Supplemental back in April, which underwrote Israel's war effort?
That's progressive, don't you think? When you vote for the supplemental bill to supply arms to Israel, that's progressive to me.
For it, I voted for that along with every other supplemental that was available. And I will tell you this. It is important that people understand what diplomacy looks like. And it looks like the fact that this relationship between Israel and the United States has existed since before I was born. And guess what? This relationship will continue on in perpetuity even after I'm gone.
But why, though? Why should our relationship with Israel exist in perpetuity like it's some kind of deity? That's just super weird. And what's also kind of weird is that according to AIPAC Tracker, Jasmine Crockett doesn't take money from the Israel lobby, but she still votes to enable genocide in Palestine and supports censorship bills attempting to criminalize criticism of Israel. Like, why is she doing this? Well, I did some digging, and while yes, it is true that Jasmine Crockett doesn't take money directly from AIPAC, I was able to find this receipt, which is super interesting, that documents a sponsorship from the American Israel Education Foundation to Ms. Crockett for the tune of $24,000 for her to, quote, attend meetings with election officials of Israel while also visiting the country's holy and historical sites. Like, why is an American congresswoman meeting with Israeli election officials? And what is the American Israel Education Foundation? Well, it is a sister organization of AIPAC that handles, quote, education work rather than lobbying. Education or re-education? For some reason, this image comes to mind for me. If you know, you know. I will say this, though. Ms. Crockett definitely passed with flying colors, saying, quote, on the 75th birthday of Israel, let's continue to dedicate ourselves to peace and prosperity. Here's to another 75. Tweets like this don't come free, guys. In fact, I would venture if I were to block this name, you would have a hard time telling whether this was Jasmine Crockett or Benjamin Netanyahu. And maybe that's the point.
Yeah, no, it sounds progressive to me. I mean, I love me some progressives. I do. They really are all about the people. True, Oswami. Yeah. That would be a shorter list. Or you might not have to say anything at all, right? Let's see. Number one. Well, I think we're done here. Okay. That's the show list. Let's see. Let's go to, while we're here, Abby Martin telling you. Something about blowback. Which I agree with. Few people hold this position about the idea that, and I hold it too, which is I feel like the majority of people outside of particular power structures and or information choke points. Everybody outside of that is just completely not on board with any of this. So they have you believing that that's a minority, but it's a major majority, mostly. And then there's a lot of people that just don't think anything about anything. So you have to, account for the NPCs out there. But the people that are just like, what? Oh, what? Just living my life. Abby Martin is correct. Israel's propaganda failed, and the youth of the world are waking up.
I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm unapologetic about my stance. And I'm very ashamed of my colleagues at their complicity and silence, especially in the wake of so many Palestinian journalists getting murdered. Millions of young people in the U.S. have been radicalized by this genocide. If you look just at the American Jews who are teenagers, there was a poll that came out that said 20% of young American Jews sympathize with Hamas. I mean, that's an incredible statistic. 25% of American Jews are anti-Zionist. The youth is changed forever from witnessing these war crimes. They are watching Palestinians dictate for the first time their reality on social media instead of looking at legacy publications to tell them lies about what their government says and just repeating Zionist propaganda. And so I'm incredibly optimistic about the youth. We see them taking a stand in the street, risking arrest. They see that they have no future. They're crippled with debt. They see the effects of climate change. And then now they see this genocide. And if Israel's allowed to get away with this, I think they realize what's next for me, what's next for the world. I do believe that the liberation of Palestine will be in our lifetime, because now we've been on the defense for the last 20 years explaining ourselves why it's not anti-Semitic to criticize an apartheid state. And I think now the narrative has completely flipped on its head. Human rights organizations around the world who liberals revere, even Israeli human rights organizations, have declared that Israel is an apartheid state committing genocide.
All right. And much in the way of the, what they tried to do after the Vietnam War was stop everybody from seeing the actual, the atrocities of war, right? And that's what woke people up, is that the Vietnam War was being televised. So when they rolled out Desert Storm and, Desert Sword and all those, the two Gulf War campaigns, they were like, you know what we're going to do this time? We're not going to let it be televised. We're going to embed certain people into, in with the troops. And they're going to be highly controlled. Like what people are going to be allowed to see about these wars will be highly controlled. And so in that way, they were trying to ensure the success of propagandizing people correctly about the war without people seeing the actual realities of the war. And, on some levels it was successful, but on other levels, not so much. But they tried. They tried it, and they tried to do their best to cover it up. And so now, because we do still have the ability to share these pictures and images, which are horrific. Again, you have people seeing what's happening, seeing the actuality of what's happening and going, no, no, sir, no, thank you. And so that is what is happening. And maybe that's what they're going to eventually try to do, is turn all of that off. But again, blowback is a mother. And I'm just spelling it out, even if you don't, whatever side you're on or whatever, if you have a side or no side, or, I'm just spelling out what happens. Blowback is a mother, right? When people can see what's going on and they don't like it. And then you're like, well, we're not going to allow you to speak about it or to see it. And then people are going to be like, okay, we definitely see that's going on. So that'll be a problem. Anyways, to keep going. Just saying. All right, we're almost done here. And so many things. There's RFK Jr. and his mistress. Have you guys been checking that thing out? Candace Owens talking about RFK Jr. and it's a pretty good clip. Hold on, maybe I'll leave with this. You can find it. It's out. It's easily accessible on Twitter and whatnot and everywhere else. But this is an interesting clip. Now that the RFK blackmail story is picking up steam, it's a good time to go back and watch this clip. It was a moment when I knew he was being blackmailed, not allowed to talk about one topic in particular. You can deduce why. This is, want to see the longest pregnant pause in human history? RFK knows the answer is yes. He knows he can't say that he knows politically. He must say no. He knows Dave will destroy that. Dave Smith. He knows, so he settles on I don't know. And this is very short. We'll end with this.
I don't agree with that. But okay, do you have concerns about the level of Israeli influence in our politics here in the United States of America?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not, I'm not a politician in political office, so I don't see much of that.
I don't agree with that. But okay,
did you see how many blinks that was? You want to count the blinks?
I have concerns about.
It was like he was like blink, 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 blink. I don't know.
The level of Israeli influence in our politics here in the United States of America.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not.
Oh God. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, guys. That does it for me. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see if I have anybody to thank. Thank you to all the Patreon subscribers. I got my first subscriber on Substack. I might get more on Substack. If you want to subscribe on Substack, that's another way to support the show. I think that's it. But thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And I will see you tomorrow at the regular time of 12 p.m. Pacific. And y'all, well, you take care now here. And peace out.